The only real difference between successful CEOs, successful athletes, anyone successful in life, is simply their belief about what they can achieve. Today we're going to be talking about scarcity mindset, how to change from scarcity and lack to abundance, and why scarcity mindset holds so many people back from reaching their full potential in life. This topic came up for me 2 weeks ago when I had a massive decision to make whether I wanted to upgrade my flight to business class or not, flying back to Bali. Purchasing the business class flight cost the kind of money that honestly would have you waking up in the middle of the night screaming. But after I bought it, I had actually just felt so much peace, because when I made the decision to buy it, I also made the decision to get over myself and become the type of person who always flies business class. Become the type of person who makes the kind of money to fly business class and that can do anything that they put their mind to. I know I'm going to level up even more over the next few months after that purchase, because I'm no longer playing it small. I'm no longer in the mindset I can't afford X or I can't afford Y or I can't afford Z. I'm no longer the kind of person who struggles to get what I want. When you level up your idea of what's possible and decide to really go for it, you open yourself up to the means to accomplish it as well. And I'm not talking about going out and recklessly spending all of your money. I'm talking about expanding your beliefs on what's available to you in every single area of your life. The money that is currently sitting in your bank account is completely irrelevant. A lot of the investments I made over the last 2 years, I didn't have the money for either. I moved back to Bali last year with 2k in my bank account and no income. I spent an entire month's wages on a business coach to help me level up my business. Either pay for things with the money you have or make the money to pay for the things you want. But making it's going to be really hard if you're in the mentality of, oh, there's not enough to go around, money's really scarce, it's really hard to make money. If you're thinking like that, making it's going to be really fucking hard. Some people limit themselves by building this box around their potential, thinking this is all I can do. But here's the thing, that limitation that you put on yourself isn't based on any real fact. When you tell yourself, oh, I could never make that kind of money or I could never run a business, that is not a fact. That is just your mind playing tricks on you to keep yourself safe and keep yourself playing small. Because again, your mind's job is just protection. It doesn't necessarily want you to do better or be happier. Your mind is programmed to keep you safe. And we start thinking these beliefs are true because we've repeated them to ourselves so many times. But in reality, none of our beliefs are factual. They're just thoughts we've replayed over and over again until we've accepted them as truth. And often these beliefs come from a mindset of scarcity. But when you realize your limitations are simply just stories that you've been telling yourself, you can begin to shift your narrative and open yourself up to the idea that you're capable of so much more. Having an abundance mindset is about your everyday thoughts, the ones that actually shape your reality. For example, you might be in a lack mindset if you feel guilty for buying yourself a nice coffee. You keep hesitating to invest in yourself because it feels so scary. You feel so jealous of others because they seem so far ahead of you. Telling yourself things like, I can't afford to eat healthy because it's too expensive. If you've said some of these things to yourself, it's possible that you're in a lack scarcity mindset. In all of these moments, you're placing limits on yourself. You're unconsciously choosing struggle over abundance. Every single day you think these thoughts or tell yourself these things, you're reinforcing scarcity into your life. So how do I change this narrative? How do I create an abundance mindset? You have to rewire your mind. You have to train yourself to think abundantly. And only then will you actually get everything you want in life. But let's get into it. The first thing you need to understand is the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. The worst possible mindset that you can have is a scarcity mindset. Every single day we flow through life and we have these thoughts come in and out of our subconscious mind, and we don't even realize that some of them are severely sabotaging us, and that's called a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset is when you think there's not enough out there for everyone. You're very scared, you're very cautious. Everything has to be done so carefully so that you can avoid any mistakes, any imperfection, any risk. And the reason you do this is because deep down you believe there's not enough resources to go around for everyone. Whether it's money, whether it's opportunities, whether it's partners if you're looking for love, or whatever else. As a result, you become impatient, you become anxious and possessive. Most of the time, a scarcity mindset isn't something we just create on our own. A lot of the times it's shaped by our upbringing or experiences we had through our life. Let's say when you're growing up and your parents always talked about money as if there wasn't enough of it. Saying things like, oh, we can't afford that, or money's really hard earned. That mindset would have been passed down to you, which means even if you're growing up now and you're actually doing really well for yourself financially, you'll either overspend or be too scared to spend any of your money because of those habits you picked up from your parents when you're growing up. So how do you transfer from this constant state of lack, feeling like there's not enough, to abundance? When you have an abundant mindset, you see all the potential in life. You're the kind of person who always sees the glass half full. You will start to see way more opportunities than you would have otherwise seen. You're constantly pushing yourself towards your goals because there's no doubt holding you back. You know that everything you want in life is out there waiting for you. All you have to do is just take action towards it. You believe in yourself, you back yourself, and you believe it's possible to achieve anything you want. Whereas if you have a scarcity mindset, when anything good happens, you hold on to it and you're constantly thinking, oh, what if it goes away? Or what if I lose everything? Or like those people over there failed, so what if it happens to me too? You will never catch an abundant person feeling jealous, feeling fearful, or comparing themselves to others. They're actually able to be happy and celebrate the success of others. They don't think just because someone else is succeeding that I can't succeed too. They don't think just because my friend's doing well, oh, I can't do well too then. She's doing well, so I can't do well. Shit, I really need to work more. I need to catch up. I need to compete. They don't think like this. The only real competition we have in life is with the best version of ourselves, our potential. And I'm going to say that again. The only real competition we have in life is with the best version of ourselves, our potential. You'll always find abundant people trying to give back. They'll always give advice, even if people are in the same industry, because they don't see them as competition. Whereas people with a scarcity mindset, they're way too busy to give back. They're too busy in their own heads thinking that nothing's going to go right for them, thinking that the world's out to get them and everything's so unfair. There's not enough money, or there's not enough things, or everything's going to be taken away from me. If they ever do give anything, a lot of the time it's for their own gain. They're doing it to seek validation or seek approval, or so other people will think they're smart. So let's say you have a scarcity mindset and you have this unbelievable idea to start a business. You finally get the courage to go for it. Yeah, it's working, it's going class, and then you hit an obstacle. And you just say, oh, this is so hard, assuming that you're going to fail, and then you'll probably give up. Even though you've made some progress towards your goals, you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, even people who are years ahead of you. It's making you feel shit about yourself and getting yourself into a bad headspace. If you're in a scarcity mindset, you're just going to accept and grab onto any opportunity that comes your way, even if it's not what you want, even if it's way less money than you deserve. Because you feel when anything comes your way, you have to cling on to it. Just what if nothing else comes? And if you have a scarcity mindset, you're also incredibly impatient. Always thinking your life would be so much better if you could just get that job or get that person or win some money in the lotto, instead of focusing on abundance and everything you actually do have in your life right now. Instead of looking at all the opportunities that could be right under your nose and just being grateful for the present. And if you're thinking at this point, nail on the head, this sounds like me, please tell me how to change. Please tell me what to do. We're going to tackle it now in a minute. So on the other hand, let's say you have an abundance mindset and you're going to start your first business. Obstacle after obstacle is hitting you in the face. Life's throwing you curveballs. You see everyone else in the industry around you succeeding and doing so well, but you think to yourself, okay, if they can succeed, that means I can succeed too. Like, they're no better than me. They're no different to me. Use it as motivation to keep pushing you forward. And you also think to yourself, these people have probably put in years of work to get to where they are. So if I put in the same amount of work and effort, then I'm going to get there too. You're prepared to play the long game. Every challenge you face, you know it's helping you learn, you know it's helping you grow, and you know it's helping you improve. If you have an abundant mindset, you're grateful for everything that you do have right now. You're not waiting to be happy when you have more money, when you have a partner, when you have a more successful business. You know it's all coming and you're just happy where you are, where your feet are right now. So let's get into it. How to shift from this lack scarcity space into abundance. First thing you need to realize is that everything is a lesson, and start assuming that everything is always working out in your favor. Ever since I started doing this, my life has completely changed. I will never say things like life's unfair or just be constantly complaining, because I know I'm in control of my life and anything bad that happens is just a lesson. So either I can learn the lesson and grow from it, or I can keep repeating the lesson over and over again and stay in this negative mind frame. And for a fact, I still have bad days. Obviously, like, everyone is going to have bad days. No matter what you see on social media, every single person experiences bad days. But I'll never think my life is bad. No matter what happens, I'll never think I have a shit life. If I get rejected from a job, an opportunity, a person, I'll always say to myself, that's because something better is coming along. And this genuinely changed my life, because like everyone else, I experienced rejection. I got made redundant from my job like a year and a half ago. And instead of just like wallowing and feeling sorry for myself, I said to myself, this happened for a reason. This is a lesson. Something better is coming along. And lo and behold, my social media blew up and my coaching business took off. If I get rejected from a person, I'll always tell myself, that's because they weren't meant for me. This is the lesson. Something better is coming along. And just that simple mindset shift can change so much in terms of your happiness levels and the opportunities that you actually attract into your life. Yes, you're allowed to be sad for a bit, of course. Don't beat yourself up about it and think, oh God, I'm a failure, or everyone's going to reject me, or every job's going to reject me, or no one wants me. Like, stop with that negative mindset, because it's not factual. It's just your mind playing tricks on you. It's not true. Start viewing rejection as redirection, not a measure of your worth. In 2022, I got made redundant from my job. I thought I'm a failure. Oh God, I have no value to give. I'm not good enough. All these negative thoughts that were making me feel like absolute pure shit. But in hindsight, had I not been rejected from that job, I would have never went back to Bali, never backed myself to go all in on coaching, and I'd still be in a job I hate. The second thing is, and I love this one, money is just an exchange. You never lose money, you only gain value. When you buy yourself a new personal development book, you're not losing €20. You're gaining knowledge. You're gaining value. You're gaining insights. You're gaining information that could literally change your life. When you spend €500 on a trip or holiday, you're not losing €500. You're gaining memories. You're gaining experience. And now, obviously, just don't go crazy. Still have some financial boundaries. But if you only ever spend on real value, you're never losing anything. Money itself has no actual value. The things you trade for money, those are the things that actually have value. And the third thing you need to shift is you need to stop seeing everyone as competition. When someone else wins or does well, that does not mean that you can't do well too. Like, say for example, if you see someone going viral on social media, you can automatically think, oh God, life must be so good and easy for them. Why are things always so easy for them? You have no idea how many battles they had to fight in order to get there. Just because you don't see their challenges does not mean their challenges don't exist. And this is why I'm such a big believer in you should never ever want to trade lives with anyone else. No matter how gorgeous or beautiful or fun their life looks, do you have any idea what their self-perception's like, what their mental health's like, what their family life is like, the insecurities they have to fight every day? Be grateful for what you have and what you bring to the table. Grass is greener where you water it. Next up, you have to realize that struggle is just part of your journey to success. Even me personally, like, I'm still not nowhere close to where I want to get to in life in general. And yeah, some days it's hard. I feel unmotivated or something goes wrong and I feel like I've let people down. But what doesn't happen is I don't think, oh, I'm going to automatically automatically fail because of this. Yeah, some days are hard and sometimes I fail at certain things or certain ideas, but I don't automatically assume, okay, just because that happened now I'm going to fail. Like, I'm shit. That's not my thought process. Trust me, someday, if you take action and keep taking action, you're going to look back on all your struggle and the seemingly bad things that happened to you, and you're going to laugh. And you're going to say, thank God for those things, because without those things, I would not be in the position I am right now today. And if you want something, no matter what it is, no matter how much it costs, you never say, I can't afford that. You say, how can I afford that? And then you take some action to try and make it happen. And even a simple thing starts changing your thought process. You're not shutting yourself off to opportunities anymore. When you look at your dream job, instead of saying, oh, I don't have near enough experience for that, or I could never get there, ask yourself, how can I get this job? How can I get the experience? How can I get more skills? Question everything in the sense of asking yourself, how can you achieve it, even if it seems so out of reach? Start creating a new identity for yourself. Every time you're faced with a challenge or obstacle, ask yourself, what would the most successful, richest version of myself do in this situation? I do this to myself all the time. Next, you need to make sure you're dreaming big. A lot of people don't even set goals because they're afraid they're going to fail. Or if they do set goals, they set really small goals because they're afraid of failing, and they underestimate what they can achieve. Dream as big as you possibly can, because if you can't imagine yourself having something, there's no possible way that you're going to get it. Script your goal and dream as big as you can. Write it down, then move it into a timeline and work out what you need to do each day or each week in order to get there. Then start planning out how you're actually going to get there. Literally just simply by getting 1% better each day, or taking one action towards your goal each day. Whether it's learning more about the business you want to start, whether it's networking with people who have already done the thing that you want to do. Anything, and that's going to compound to something huge over time. And the last thing is to watch who you're spending time with. I'm surrounded by 4 or 5 friends who are in a lack mentality, and they're constantly comparing themselves to everyone else, or they have so much limitations in their own mind. They're going to put those limitations onto you too. Whereas when you're surrounded by people who want to push you forward, see you do well, or in an abundance mindset, that energy is infectious. Like, that is going to motivate you to be in that mindset too, and to actually believe that you can do anything you put your mind to, and see the abundance and see the opportunities in everything. Like, even me personally, I am so grateful for the friends I have in my life right now. I was thinking about making this massive investment, huge investment, more money than I've ever spent before in my entire life for the last 3 months. And part of me was in this little bit of a scarcity mindset, being like, that's going to be all my money gone. But then I met up with one of my friends, Britt, who was like, Emma, you need to spend money to make money. This is an investment in yourself, and you're never going to regret investing in yourself. And that made me do it. That made me pull the trigger and make the investment. So, like, say in my life, if I was surrounded by a different kind of friend who had a lack mentality, I'd meet them and they'd be like, yeah, you're definitely right. Like, definitely don't spend that money. And that's probably what would, like, rub off onto me. So surround yourself with people who motivate you, who inspire you to be the best version of yourself, because that is going to rub off on you. And that's going to get you so much closer to the life you want, so much faster. That is all for this week's episode. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, rate it 5 stars, like, subscribe, and we'll be back next week with another banger.